Everybody joining me right now is Taylor Hay of the St. Louis Slam. Taylor, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to ask you a couple questions about 2016. We're going to start off by looking at the past before we do that. Kansas City, you guys in the last 2 years have played 3 games so far. I'm talking about the regular season. And in those games, do you know what the difference in scoring has been between your two teams?
Probably 1 touchdown or less.
Wow, that is crazy. You're exactly right. It is 1 touchdown.
That's usually what determines almost every game since I've been playing for the Slam, and every time we play against Kansas City, that's the outcome.
It literally is 1 touchdown. It's 85 points that Kansas City has scored and 78 for St. Louis. And it's about time for you guys to win the next game, right? It's on again, off again, on again, off again. What is it about the rivalry with Kansas City that keeps things so close and makes these games so compelling?
I almost feel like the geographic part of it changes the dynamic of the game just because we're only 4 hours away, and we're both considered Missouri teams. And I also think, there's a handful of us that did play for Kansas City, so you have that competitiveness that kind of is underlying because it's kind of like you want to win, and that's your family, your football family, but at the same time, we're not on the same team anymore, so the competitive drive inside of all of us makes it so exciting. It's usually one of my favorite games.
From the posts I read on Facebook, it seems like y'all really get up for that game, and so does Kansas City every year. On the other side are the games that are not close, that are they're not compelling, certainly to watch, I don't think, and that would be like week 1 against the Derby City Dynamite, 71-0, and it wasn't just y'all in week 1. Alabama beat Huntsville 76-0, and Central Cal beat West Coast Lightning 76-0, and I think there's an 82-0. Sin City over Ventura. Have you ever been on the receiving end of a beatdown like that?
Oh, yes. Last year we played against Chicago, and it wasn't in the 70s, but I believe it was in the late 50s, I think, that the latter half of the 50s that we lost that game, and we didn't put any points up. So I understand how it feels to be on that end of the field.
Well, how does it feel? Talk about that. What does that feel like?
Oh, it's not great. I mean, it's more so frustrating. I know one of our biggest issues when we went to Chicago was we went up there with probably about 17, 18, not a lot. And then the group we went up with was predominantly rookies. And the type of team that Chicago is you put it in the bracket with, the Dallas Elite and San Diego, big, strong girls who are disciplined and they know football. So, and a lot of them have been there. Their core have been there for many years, and so that changes things. And rookies, I know specifically in St. Louis, even playing against Derby City, their coaches are hardcore with power and strength, more so than skill. So getting hit that first time by someone other than your teammate is sometimes not the best feeling in the world. I'm sure that experiencing a loss plus getting hit really, really hard does not feel very great. You know what I mean?
So if you're on the giving end of it, is it the reverse? Do you feel good? Are you inside happy and smiling and glad that it's happening, or is there something else going on?
Against Derby City, our rookies got a lot of playing time. So I know a lot of the seasoned vets that usually play an entire game against teams like Kansas City or Chicago ended up only playing probably the first quarter. And then we were able to get the rookies in and get some real life action because some of those rookies may not necessarily skill-wise be up for games like Kansas City just yet. So that Derby City game, and they actually our whole defense out there for the majority of the Derby City game was rookies, and they were able to put up the same exact fight as some of the vets.
Would you rather have the blowouts where you win, or would you rather have a close game you lose?
Close game that I lose. I mean, I don't like losing, but I look forward to games like Kansas City and Chicago. Games where I know I have to challenge myself. I need that. We need that as a team, as a challenge. We need it because we really only grow from things like that.
What was the difference in the play of St. Louis versus Kansas City? What was the deciding factor? Why'd you lose by 10?
We made the most amount of mistakes. I mean, and Kansas City was there to capitalize. And going into the game, our coach told us that this is their first game. This is their rookie's first game. So we have the advantage. I mean, on paper, you would think that was what would make the most sense. However, we made the most amount of mistakes, and they capitalized on them. I mean, defensively, we played a really good game. Offensively, we struggled a little bit early on. We were able to put up some points after a deficit of a 14-15-0, and we were able to go ahead and come back from that. But then there was I would say, gray area of a call made by a referee, whether it was inbound catch or not, and that kind of changed the momentum for us. It was 3rd and I think 10, and defense made the stop, but they actually went ahead and ruled the catch as inbounds. So that changed. I mean, I believe that changed like the momentum of the entire game. And it was almost like deja vu, because the exact same thing happened last year in Kansas City. I don't want to say, oh, we got screwed over. You don't place blames on referees or anything else, but that definitely changed the momentum of the game.
In the WFA, I've heard more than one person talk about some of the refereeing, so I don't know that placing blame is the right thing. Sometimes I've heard players say they just need more balanced refereeing, and it's not a case.
I agree.
When you played Kansas City this year, you I guess you're the first team to have gotten a look at the new look Kansas City Titans. I mean, the Sauer sisters have really made some changes there. Did you notice anything different about what they brought this year than last year?
Yeah, I would say that defensively they're about the same. I would say that is not their strength. I would say offensively they're a powerhouse. They did add a decent size, I guess you would label her as a fullback / running back. Not necessarily the quickest person, but she's strong and she reads her holes well, and she follows her blocks. So that's not a bad thing. And they needed that. They do have a little running back there. She's small, she's quick, but I don't think that's the look they were going for in the past. They used to have Ree Graves, who is still there. She's a linebacker now though. But she was a big power back, and they liked that part of their offense is having a big back. They liked that when Ree was there. But you know what? The Twins are athletes. They will make or break a team. I wouldn't say they don't necessarily need anyone else. I'm just saying that their presence is so powerful that they will make the rest of their teammates good.
Well, speaking of the rest of their teammates, when you played with them back in 2014, you were, if not the leader in the league in terms of rushing, you were one of the league leaders. And you're not a bigger back. So they may have had a sort of a penchant for that bigger bruising back, but that's not what you brought to the table, and you were amazing when you played with them. So is there something to your size as being an advantage? And also, how are you doing this year? How's 2016 starting out for you?
I like the idea of a smaller back. I may be biased, but I think that sometimes I'm underestimated just because I am small. But a lot of times I get a lot of respect from other teams just because even though I'm small, I will give 110%, like no matter where I'm at on the field. And this year, I actually injured myself in the first game. I didn't play against Kansas City yesterday. So that was a little bit of adversity for us just because of not necessarily I make or break my team, but energy-wise, like my team relies on my energy sometimes, my positive energy. And as vocal as I can be on the sideline, it was different. And then we have an outside linebacker who's an athlete, and she had to play both sides of the ball, and she hasn't had to do that. And she doesn't necessarily particularly care for a running back, but she has to, body-wise, she fits there. So she compromised her defensive action just to go ahead and fill my role as a running back, and that changed the game around as well. That's why I joke with the Kansas City coaches and the players, and I told them we'll see them in St. Louis, and we'll go ahead and give them the L that they gave us, just like last year. So I'm never okay with the loss, but if I know I can have a second chance at it, I can swallow it a little bit easier.
Well, I've heard coaches talk to me about you specifically who've said two things about you. Well, three things. One, yes, your diminutive size. Two, your energy, your infectious enthusiasm. And number three, your legs, that you drive like these crazy pistons, and that you may be small, but you're powerful. Do you see those as being the same qualities that are your strengths?
Yeah, I would definitely say in my entire life, in any environment that I'm in, most of the time I'm the most positive person. I enjoy positivity over negativity any day. It changes how your team responds, how your coaches respond, your coworkers in life, your family. I enjoy being the sunshine in everyone's life. So yes, I would agree that is one of my strengths. And then I think I'm a little bit crazy when they think powerful. I mean, I work out, but there's a couple girls on my team we have a receiver, and she's a DB too, and she's only 160, and she's 5'8", 5'9". She's so strong, and she will drag linebackers down the field and break tackles. And like for me, I'm looking at her like, I wish I could be like that. And I'm powerful, but I'm nothing like some of the girls on my team that are just so powerful. I think I'm a little crazy, and I'm fearless, and I just run probably sometimes into places I shouldn't and somehow make it out safely. But I have fun. So, and I never double, I never question what I do. I just do it and I have fun with it. And, we see it on film, and if there's things that we can adjust, we adjust them. But for the most part, I just enjoy it.
Well, what is the nature of your injury? And then you have a bye week ahead. Is that right? Coming up here?
We do.
Okay. Then after the bye week at Chicago, they're coming to St. Louis. So what's your injury? Are you going to be able to play 2 weeks against Chicago?
The goal is to play. Yes. It's a hip flexor issue. Not sure exactly how it happened. I landed a little awkwardly and somehow damaged the hip flexor. So I've been resting. I've been trying to behave, ice, all the things you're supposed to do with an injury. So my goal is to be back for Chicago, and if I can't have Chicago, then definitely the next game following that. So my goal is Chicago, though. Can I get you to guarantee a victory, and by how many points? I don't want to guarantee a victory. I want to guarantee that we will give all that we have, and if it equals or ends up being a victory, I'll take it. But one of the things I want to take from the Kansas City game is that the rookies and the vets see all the mistakes we made, and then our coaches do the best to give us all the answers to the test, and all we have to do is trust them and trust our teammates. And if we do that and we still lose, I can take that. Little victories, I can guarantee, but a victory against Chicago, I'm not sure yet. We haven't seen any film on Chicago yet, and so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth just yet. Well,
I'll tell you what, your answer, my question was, I obviously nobody guarantees things like that. In life, that's very foolish to do that. And my question, I kind of expected you'd come back with kind of a humorous answer of some sort, but and normally, so for people listening to understand this, that normally would be in an interview what I might edit out because it might just be you and I having fun banter back and forth. But your answer was very important. I think people need to go back and listen to your answer. It was insightful and professional. And ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Hay of the St. Louis Slam, thanks for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Good luck on your injury and good luck against Chicago in 2 weeks.